Ryan's Mobile One.
Working on the 2019 KIA Optima again. This one, I did the HVAC in a video recently where we got it to where it was doing the heat and HVAC again, but without spending any parts on money on parts or whatever. This one's gonna be a little different. This one has a P0010, so basically a powertrain code number 10, and it's got this cam phaser, you know, like on the F-150s, they're always making a bunch of rattle blah, 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 when they start up. So if Volkswagen and Ford had a kid, this would be it. This is like the younger sibling that emulates both of those companies. So we're going to see some bad electrical connections, some materials that aren't quite up to snuff, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to show you what I found, and I put everything back together just without the bolts so it'd tear down quick. I want to save you time and be able to show you the tour here. So when you were looking at this car, it's the intake cam phaser, and what it is instead of having a hydraulic actuator that sticks in the end or sticks in here or here and having the hydraulics do the motion on it, it's electric. It's got an electric cam gear on the end of the intake. You got the intake manifold here, and then you've got the exhaust back here. So this connector here is the first thing you take off, and this is dead giveaway. It is melted. It is like broken. I'll show you a close-up shot on that. So in order, I couldn't get this to come out. It's supposed to be retained by this little button here, and you push this down to get that to go, and it still wouldn't go because all of this was melted into the bottom of this, and it kind of basically fell apart. So I have the engine supported with a jack and a rubber pad under the oil pan. You want to make sure you're on the outboard side of the oil pan so that you can get a good pickup on that. So you got a 10mm bolt here and here. You've got a little thing here. Use one of these, link in the description, to pop that off and stick this out over here. You're going to need the following sizes: 17mm. Get you this, 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 and this. So they're all laid out there. And then you've got to have a 14mm. If you get this jacked up properly, this top does separate. That's awfully nice. So set that aside. Here's your motor mount. Pull that out. Set it someplace safe, gently. And then you've got 14s here, 14 here, and then you've got 2 down here and a 12 there. So you want to back all of these out because you can see that this is what we're trying to get out of there. We're going to inspect it first before you do anything drastic or rash. You want to inspect all that first. So here's your bolts, 12, 14. This is the long one. These are all pretty much the same. The black one here is by the 12, so there you go. I'm going to set that aside. Then you pull out your 10mm bolts on this, and then you'll be able to pull off this cover. This cover, this is not a sensor, this is an actuator. And the difference is a sensor sends a signal, like a 5-volt reference signal, for example, low voltage. This is not that. This is an actuator, and it's got a couple of contacts. So I'm going to give you a quick peek at it this way, and then I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. So here's what a new one looks like. Here's the old one. And when we turn them around, you're going to see some electrical brushes, just like you'd see in an alternator or a starter. They're spring-loaded, and you can see that they're the same height. We've got twin towers going on over here. When we push this one down, it rebounds great. We push this one down. See how it sits low? It's not the same height anymore unless I pull it up. That's the kind of cheap Volkswagen kind of shoddy crap, plastic garbage that I'm talking about. These guys are like Volkswagen. Didn't they buy out Bugatti and all these other companies are real successful? Kia wants to be the same way, so they're cutting costs and selling crappy stuff. So let's look at what the old one looks like and see if there might be some indications that this is the problem. Okay, here's our twin towers. We're going to look at that. And do you guys see any problems with this? You see that that's just melted. So when you get a bunch of melting and stuff, that heat comes from resistance. Anytime you have the flow being blocked, think of putting your finger on the end of a hose and you feel that pressure and your thumb's like, white knuckling it. That's what electricity's doing when there's resistance and it can't flow to where it wants to be effectively. So that resistance results in heat and it got cooked. That's it in a nutshell. Let's take a look at that cam. The front of the cam, I'm going to insert a picture here. This is what the cam is supposed to look like. Here's on a parts listing. Now let's get into there and see what this cam looks like. Isn't that nice? Just look at that. Can you imagine why there's a trouble code that this isn't working properly? Now this has to have a wire coil or something in it, and either this failed and wiped out the other, or the other didn't make good contact and wiped it out. One or the other or both. So one of the things what we can do is we can push on this or pick at it. This plastic is just like glued everything down flat. So I'm going to play with that and see if I can get those to pop up like this. But it could be that it wore down. I forgot to look and see what the mileage is on this car. So let's get in there and take a look at it. And let's also see if that fan is still working. This thing's been gone and doing, so the mileage isn't too terribly high. It's 143,000. We turn the key on, we already have the same trouble code we're gonna have. You hear that? So our last fix was good. And it's the same thing, it's just that electrical connectivity and the materials and how much of the material or how much contact surface it has that makes this fail. Now to have a car or something like this fail at 150,000 miles, it's not the end of the world, it's not that bad, but all of this plastic stuff that's on the copper surface has to be replaced or done something with. So I'm just playing with this a little bit, seeing what all's the deal. So as far as these parts go, this is $80 at the dealership. You can get these online, same brand. Maybe they updated this so that this isn't as stiff. But same thing, 35 bucks on, or 40 or 50 bucks even, if you get it online. I'll leave a link in the description where you can find these. But it has a seal here that goes around this. This is the cam gear. If we were to look in there, we would see a timing chain that goes around the top of this. There'd be guides and stuff here. Again, this is what this looks like off the car. So the seal here goes around here on the outside of it. And then there's another O-ring that seals this area to keep the oil in there. So one seal keeps oil from getting to this. And if this seal were to fail or get hard, this is a little stiff. This is very supple and soft. You want to lubricate the seal on the new one before you put it on so it can slide on it. But it could be that just this seal failed and oil got in here and then contaminated it and created the resistance. So anyway, that's what causes the P0010. I'm going to clean this up. You can use a pencil eraser and then clean it with alcohol and a clean paper towel. Pencil eraser has a little bit of grit in it, but it's not too aggressive. That's why it doesn't tear up your paper, but does take off your pencil markings. So we're going to do that. We're going to put this on. And we're going to plug in, this plug should be replaced. Look how bad that is. That's just so melted. You want to know where the rubber seal is that's supposed to seal that, or the silicone seal? It's right there. See all the plastic pieces just falling apart in there? It's just a matter of not having good materials. That's what it is. So I've got this all cleaned up. You can see that this still rotates independently. I can move it just a little bit. That's good. That's basically what this does, is it uses an electromagnet to be able to change the phase between the chain and the shaft to get you the best gas mileage and power that it can. Again, I used a pencil eraser. I had to use a wire brush also, but I used this and I used a chunk of cardboard to clean it off on periodically. And I hate using a stainless steel brush. There was so much plastic that was melted onto it that I literally used that on it. Man, this is what I got. You can see the outer one, the one that rebounds better, had a deeper groove. And then the inner one was less of a groove. So I don't know if this is going to fix it or not. If it doesn't, we're going to replace that sprocket because it's got that whole electromagnetic, it's got the coil and stuff in it. I think it was a matter of contact, especially with the new one hanging up a little bit the way it does. But we're going to run it and see how it does. So anyway, it was just this one. I think these were in process of working on it. So we are going to clear all these codes. All right, so they're all cleared. So we're going to start this up. Check engine lights off, and it's staying off now. That's a fix. Nice. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. Talk to you again soon.
Bonus footage at the end.
There's good puppers. Keep pushing down on the world. The world keeps pushing me up. Woo! That's awesome. Those are firefighters. I think we're close to where she likes to nest. She keeps swooping us. It's kind of fun.